Well, good morning, everyone. This is Natalie Weinstein with The Home Show. Kay Sine and I are going to be chatting about the difference of living in a home of your own, a rental apartment, or a condo.
Security systems are rather built in.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I'm not talking about the system that you buy and have a little sign out in front of your doorway. Although, obviously, those are excellent. But there's a type of a built-in security system because your neighbors are so close.
Yes.
And typically they watch out for each other.
Yes. And also, we have a security guard. We have a guard gate. You can't get in without showing ID. And we have fobs that we use to go in on our own that are connected, to our keychain or in our cars to get us in without them. So there is someone at the gate who stops you, which I'm sure is probably a major deterrent to a lot of robberies because they can go elsewhere where they don't have that problem.
Absolutely.
Especially private homes.
It's a huge detriment to a burglar or someone meaning harm.
Yes.
Absolutely. But, say you go on vacation,
Mm-hmm.
You can just kind of lock your door and go.
Yep. And that's why I love it so much, because when we travel, we are either visiting in California or in Florida, and my neighbors know we're gone. And the guard is aware of it, and the house is safe.
Right, and that's a huge advantage that you don't have in a single-family home.
Mm-hmm.
Another one is social activities.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times there are even social directors or social committees that are formed, and they plan social events or trips. And that's wonderful also.
Yes. Now, I am not in an over 55 community, but I have done many homes in over 55 communities, and especially for people who are now single, after widowed for whatever reason, or divorced, and now move to come to a place where they don't want to be alone anymore. These places have wonderful ways of making new friendships and creating internal social activities where people don't have to travel at night. If they have something at the clubhouse or card parties or other events or afternoon luncheons or whatever it may be, depending on the scope and size of the clubhouse and the community itself. But for a lot of people, that really keeps them from being very lonely.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Okay, so let's for a moment talk about some of the myths that people think or believe is going to be what's occurring when they live in a community such as this. What are some of them?
Well, one of them you actually mentioned earlier in your own experience when you talked about the flowers.
Yeah.
So one of the big ones is, well, I own my unit, so I can do whatever I want in it.
Sure. As long as I make it pretty, everybody's going to love it, right?
Right.
Wrong.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Wrong.
And when they grow up past 6 feet, even though they're looking gorgeous, somebody comes along from the community, the bylaws, and cuts them back to 6 feet. Because that's the rules.
Right.
So I guess that the best thing to know is you don't really have the control and power anymore.
That's why it's a dictatorship and not a democracy.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And that can all be for good. Like I said earlier, I don't like to talk all negative.
Yes.
It can be very good as well. But just by the nature of condo living, we almost are forced to talk about the negative.
Well, I think that it's important because most of us, like myself, didn't really think about that. I mean, and my husband, his question to me was, how do you know you're going to like your neighbors? How are you going to know you like living here? Well, why are we rushing into this? And I kept saying to him, we're going to like it. Because I made up my mind we're going to like it. It's what we need to do now. We need to downsize. We need to be able to be at an airport. We need to be in a gated community. We need to have the master bedroom on the main floor. And for all the reasons I just ticked off earlier, he finally said to me, okay. And then I proceeded to redo the interior of the house as if it were my home rather than a condo that I'd be moving out of in a year or two, which some people might have thought I was nuts in doing. But honestly, I don't think I really was, Kay, because the condo units have appreciated in the 8 years, And many, many more people than my husband thought have put in big dollars to decorate and make modifications in the interior that they were permitted to do. And the value has not only remained in a community where, now with the marketplace being softer, it could have gone down, but it's pretty close to where it was. It's holding steady. And that's a good thing for not only myself, who appreciated the value of my unit, but it's good for the whole community.
Absolutely.
And I like that aspect of saying, I know I'm going to like it here. Must have been from Annie, the song, I'm going to like it here.
Right.
And I think if that's your mindset, maybe if you go in with your eyes wide open and you've actually read the rules and bylaws, and you can feel that some of them are livable and the ones that are not so terrible, okay, and you want to get on board and do what you did and help change the rest of them, and hopefully you can do that, then I guess it's pretty much much better, because now you're living communally in a way, and so you're sharing a lot of the expenses, as you mentioned earlier.
Well, your attitude that you just mentioned is at least half of the whole ballgame. The people that have the most difficulty in a condo are the ones who either don't read the documents, or don't know about them, or don't read them typically, and don't care. They decide they're going to do their thing their way. It doesn't make any difference what someone else tells them they can or cannot do.
Mm-hmm.
And they are the ones that cause real trouble and disharmony in a community like that.
What happens when you get a person who's really, let's use the word ornery, about obeying the rules, that doesn't walk the dog where the dog walk is, and doesn't plant the flowers where he's supposed to, or doesn't abide by the rules in a very blatant way? How does the association handle that?
Well, there's a good way to handle it and a bad way. Let's just talk about the good way. The owners that see this owner violating the rules, first of all, those owners should keep logs, actually write down the dates and times and the type of behavior that this owner is doing that's against the rules. Secondly, they should submit in writing their complaint to the board or the management company. And then thirdly, it is up to the board to strictly enforce and consistently enforce the rules. And they can do that in several ways, and usually they start with a letter, a warning letter, a friendly warning letter. And if that doesn't work, then maybe they'll do one that's a little more firm.
Mm-hmm.
And if that doesn't work, they could call the owner into a meeting with the other owners that are complaining and try to have this person hear the problem that they're causing from the other people that live there. If that doesn't work out, then the board can add violation fines to that owner's account.
Mm-hmm. So the pocketbook is the first is a little chastising, and then is a little community pressure, and now it comes to hit him in the pocketbook.
Correct.
Mm-hmm.
Correct. And frankly, I have known people who were so stubborn that they allowed those violation fines to pile up, were so stubborn they would not pay them, that they ended up with thousands of dollars in violation fines. Sometimes they quit paying their maintenance fees, and then they end up having a lien placed. They go into collection activity then.
My goodness.
And then you have a whole domino effect. That now you've got someone maybe who's not paying their maintenance fee, and that goes back to our earlier discussion about it comes back on all the rest of the owners then. So not only did the owners suffer through the grief of this person who was disobeying the rules, now they have to pay for it.